People always ask, what's ahead in the next 6 months or so? For a very long time in days of old, on the legendary show that used to exist, Wall Street Week with Louis Rukeyser, he used to operate under the mantra of what's ahead for the economy. Why? Because that's one of the things people always worry about. The fact is, said simply, that as I've said in another video, and as the leading economic index numbers indicate, as I've said in a still additional prior video, the economy is in a slow growth mode now, having bounced back from the constrictions of the COVID lockdowns. We have returned to the condition that we were in before February 2020 when COVID struck in mass and the lockdowns were crammed onto our world, and have had this fast growth that is now rolling over into slower growth as we continue the cycle that existed before these things happened to all of us. As that goes on, the fact is we revert to a world in so many ways that acts as it acted before February 2020. It acts in a world where things that can do well in a growth but low growth environment are rewarded. Things that require faster growth to do well are not rewarded. So natural growth companies are doing well in the stock market and their businesses are doing well. Companies that got all excited about the bounce back are starting to run into headwinds, a point that the media has not yet much portrayed. The quality companies are doing better now, again, than the lower quality companies, which is different than earlier in the year as we were feeling the impact of the culmination of the bounce back economically. And we continue to have a politically increasingly benign environment as it becomes increasingly clear that most of the scariest changes, the biggest changes, maybe the ones you hoped for the most, I don't know, that might go through government are going to be non-existent or watered down heavily. Now, let me just point to that for a minute. This Congress doesn't allow much that's very extreme to get through because there's no margins in the House or the Senate. You have to actually get every basic Democrat to line up to get anything through Congress. The ability to do that is diminished by the degree there's any disagreement about what should be done among Democrats. So very little actually gets done. When you take anything legislatively, anything, you take from these to give to those, the people you take from hate it more than the people you give to like it because people hate losses much more than they love gains. And in politics, we do that openly in public in front of everyone. And as that fear of the taking from these to give to those, the people that get it like it, but they think it's good, but the people that lose it, they think it's bad and they hate it more. As that fear goes away, we feel more benign about our more stable world. Our perception of the stability increases. And as that happens, stocks traditionally do well. And that'll continue going on all of the rest of the next 6 months and into 2022 as we move into early on in 2022, both the full force of House of Representatives congressional redistricting, which will take a good couple of dozen Congress people and move them into inaction, and simultaneously the beginning of primary season, which will take many more, and move them into inaction. So the market, which of course will pre-price what we see in 2022, in the back half of 2021, will react to all of that relatively benignly. The stock market will continue to be okay with volatility, and it'll be an okay world. And it's important for you as an investor to keep your eye on that longer term ball in a world that's growing but slower growth than what we've had, where growth stocks and big high quality names tend to do better than companies that are dependent on growth to do well, growth of the economy to do well. And that world is going to look a lot more over these next 6 months like the world before 2020 February than the world between February 2020 and now. Subscribe to the Fisher Investment YouTube channel if you like what you've seen. Click the bell to be notified as soon as we publish new videos.